We both knew it'd come to this.
It was only a matter of time.
I'll try to make it painless. Begin.
So Injustice 2's been out for a while, and I can pretty much just guarantee to you that if you got this game right now, it's worth the $60 value, maybe even the $100 if you got the deluxe, but that's not what I came here to talk about today. Because while this game is great, I wanted to compare it to another game made by NetherRealm. Of course, I'm referring to Mortal Kombat X. See, I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan, but I also really like the new Injustice game, so I wanted to compare the two, as Mortal Kombat X seems to have brought a lot of the things that Injustice 2 has done, and I wanted to see which did it better, the predecessor or the new kid on the block. First up in this best out of 5 is story. Since Mortal Kombat 9 ended with like the entire cast of characters ending up getting killed, naturally they needed to buff up their numbers. So they went with the Mortal Kombat Generation X plan and introduced a bunch of new characters like Cassie Cage, Takeda, Gung Jin, while aging every single other character, which is fine in its own right. But the story is extremely weird, as this new Young Justice group basically has to take on Shinnok, an elder god, and they somehow win. Oops. Spoilers. Just, you know, for now. Anyway, after that awkward pause, we're gonna just let's just think about this, right? This small group of teenagers basically beats a god. I never understood this concept, and I thought it was the stupidest thing when I played the story mode for the first time.
Round 2, fight.
Story of Injustice 2 follows and also retcons the events of Injustice 1. Superman goes nuts after Lois Lane dies, and he starts his own evil government called the Regime, and Batman leads a rebellion. There's your Injustice 1 summary. Injustice 2 takes place after that, when Brainiac comes down and decides he wants the last Kryptonian and to destroy Earth. And, which is fine, but what didn't make sense is that they immediately start fighting afterwards, which I understand they're enemies, but they couldn't put aside their differences, kinda, you know, not very well. I mean, Wonder Woman does try and kill Harley Quinn, but oops. You know, she's evil. Anyway, I'm getting off track. But, yeah. They immediately start fighting. Not even, Brainiac is just knocked out on the floor and they start fighting. I mean, that's probably not very safe. All in all, I think Mortal Kombat has to win the point for story, as while the way that it was handled was kind of weird. At least it was weird in the sense of it's a Mortal Kombat story, what do you want from it?
No team up then, eh?
Up next is Peoples and Places, and I'd have to say Injustice has one of the largest rosters in a fighting game that I've seen, where each fighter is also very unique. As games like Marvel vs. Capcom have huge rosters, but all the characters feel kind of the same, where each of these characters feel unique in their own right. However, the biggest innovation in the People's department is from its mother boxes, which are these little boxes similar to an Overwatch loot box, and they open up and you get a bunch of gear for your character, which you can then apply to the character. Also get to the multiverse mode. However, I find that this is a really unique thing for a fighter, and I would love to see it return in future games, as it helps make you grow an attachment to the characters you like, and also help improve your chances of winning in an online fight. And as you can see here, this is where you open up all your boxes and get all the latest and greatest gear if you are lucky enough to actually get it, unlike me, who has the luck of absolutely no one. So, Mortal Kombat's characters are a lot different because rather than having customization by item, they have variations. If you look at Sub-Zero here, he's got Grandmaster, Cryomancer, and Unbreakable, and they all do different things, and basically it just changes the playstyle entirely. Same here with like Aaron Black. He's got a sword, now he's got this is a hat or a rifle. And this definitely is a lot different from what is in Injustice 2. Now, stage-wise, I think that Mortal Kombat X is probably stronger just because the ones in Injustice 2 aren't really that creative. I mean, they are, but not to the extent of Mortal Kombat. If you have a weak stomach, look away in 3, 2, 1. How could I not talk about the over-the-top fatalities of Mortal Kombat? I mean, that's what the game is made famous for, their over-the-top finishers. This one has the most over-the-top finishers in all of Mortal Kombat's history. Delicious meat cubes. And while Superman won't be ripping off anyone's head anytime soon, you will find the brutal super move, which deals a massive amount of damage and is very cinematic. And while for the time, the variations were amazing and the fatalities were, and still are amazing, Injustice 2 definitely improved on Mortal Kombat X's variations with the enormous amount of customization. Winner, Injustice 2.
How's that for a Star City welcome?
Next up, for a great fighter game, you're gonna need a great environment and atmosphere. These two games completely excel in this department, so it's gonna be a hard decision. Mortal Kombat has a really grounded, realistic atmosphere where their movements feel like they have a lot of weight to it, but not so much that it would like kill a normal person. Not to mention the sheer gore of the fatalities, plus the stage interactions really tie the whole package together. Even some of the ways to dispatch your opponents are thematic, with the faction kills, which are tied to the faction war of 5 factions fighting to see who's number 1. Which I am probably one of the few people who actually kind of enjoyed that and really tried to fight for the faction, but whatever. Then over on the Injustice side of things, we have the aftermath of what happened in Injustice 1. See, in the plot of Injustice 1, what happened is that the Batman of the Injustice universe used multiversal dimensional whatchamajiggers to get a bunch of heroes from the normal dimension over. I don't really know how to explain it any better, but basically, the entire thing is set up where he monitors multiversal threats, which is also why each character can look different in this game. Another thing to think about is that this is a superhero game, so rather than being grounded and realistic, it's going to be over the top. I mean, you have like Black Canary, who can scream at supersonic speeds, fighting Red Hood, was the second Robin. It's gonna get really, really over the top, really, really fast. And that's good, because it is a superhero game. It doesn't need to be grounded in reality. It's mostly based in science fiction, like it should be. And that's what I love about it, is that it gets the whole comic book fight feel. There's a destruction in the background, knocking people through stage transitions, and using the environment in the background to your advantage really ties it all together. So this is going to be a really hard choice. Now, despite all that, who's going to win? Well, I think I'm going to have to give this point to Mortal Kombat for a couple reasons. 1, it did it first. 2, it improved on itself from Mortal Kombat 9, whereas Injustice 1's atmosphere needed to be completely redone for Injustice 2. Therefore, the winner is Mortal Kombat X.
Denied.
Up next is game modes. Mortal Kombat X is stuck with a traditional tower system, but has also gone with the living towers. Towers that update every so often, depending on the time. Another major game mode is Test Your Luck. A game mode where it's a standard fight. However, the difference is, as you can see on screen right now, there's a bunch of random modifiers that completely change the course of the match, from assists to decreased timers to things like poison rockets and just random stuff that you can't really account for. It makes for a very intense, I'd say, gameplay, while also being completely unpredictable. Over on the Injustice side of things, we have the famous multiverse modes, which is basically each world has a giant set of towers. Each tower has its own rewards for completing the tower. Sometimes there are bosses, modifiers, and just an overarching story, which is pretty cool in my opinion, considering the fact that I'd like to know why I'm beating up Batman, because I thought he was a good guy. Apparently in this world he's a bad guy. Who knows? It's just great to give some freaking explanation for once in our lives. There are also guild multiverses, which are much harder than normal ones, so you're going to need help from some friends. Another good game mode is completely new to Injustice 2 is the AI Battle Simulator, which allows scrublords like me to experience the thrill of online without ever actually having to play anything. Basically what you do, go into customize character, go into the AI slot, equip its gears and pattern. Basically, you set it up, and they go online and fight other bots to get more loot, which is pretty good for everyone, because, hey, you know, more loot. So, where does this leave us? Well, the thing is that while Mortal Kombat X did it first, and did it well, Injustice greatly improved on everything that Mortal Kombat X had to offer. So this round, going to the superheroes of Injustice 2.
You are disposable.
It's all tied up going into the final round. Who's gonna come out on top? Fight! Unfortunately, both of these games suffer the same problem. Their greatest strengths are their greatest weaknesses. In the case of Injustice 2, let's take a look at Wonder Woman. My Wonder Woman is completely decked out because I play a lot of Wonder Woman. Compared to Bane, I don't have a lot of Bane time. So, all the gear I have is worthless for him, and also, he's just not going to be as good as my Wonder Woman, because my Wonder Woman is going to be completely optimized for me, unlike my Bane, which will not have any playtime whatsoever. Mortal Kombat X's problem is a little bit different with its variations. While I don't have a problem with the new guys having variations, this is an example. Raiden. I want to play as Teleporter, but I also want his electric attacks upgraded. But I have to choose between the two. I can't have my cake and eat it too. I want my cake, and I want to also eat it. So where does this leave us? Well, with Injustice 2, the problem affects every single character on the roster. No matter if you play them a lot, which is the strength, or if you don't, which is the weakness. With a large roster of characters, there's going to be some you're not going to play. Mortal Kombat X's problem only affects the older characters, which had pre-existing movesets that are now split up into 3. I'm fine with the new guys having movesets split up. I'm not fine with the older ones getting split up. So, the winner of this section is Mortal Kombat.
Cyberlink Way lives.
So, with the victory of 3-2, the overall winner is Mortal Kombat X. Do you agree with my logic? Leave a comment down below expressing your own thoughts. Hats off to NetherRealm for 2 great games. I'm D-Man Gamer, and Injustice 2 just got caged.
Cassie wins.